Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Is it any wonder Tim Lincecum has not had a winning record since 2010? The next year was, after all, the first time the NL West got a look at Paul Goldschmidt. Since then, Lincecum has lost more games than he's won, and his struggle with Goldie has gone from predictable to inevitable. And now, like a high tide or a setting sun, you know where and when it's going to happen again. Just like a sunset at high tide, it sure is nice to look at. The top of the NL West mountain, San Francisco Giants have been there all year, but now they are starting to stumble, and will they fall over here at Chase Field? The Giants' 9.5-game lead down to 4 as they take a 5-game losing streak into this weekend, and Paul Goldschmidt and the D-backs are ready and waiting for Tim Lincecum. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. It's presented by Bluebell Ice Cream. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume and Bob Brenly along the way. This is the D-backs and the San Francisco Giants, first of a 3-game weekend series. And Tim Lincecum starts tonight for the Giants, and you know what that means. It is Goldie gone.
I'll tell you what, Tim Lincecum has one of the more unique deliveries in all of baseball, designed to provide some deception to opposing hitters. Doesn't seem to bother Goldie in the least. Just ridiculous career numbers against the Giants right-hander. He's averaging a home run every 3.5 at-bats against Tim Lincecum.
And the latest meeting is set for just moments from now. As we mentioned at the top of the show, the Giants in a bit of a free fall right now. They have lost 5 in a row, so they're kind of coming back to the division. D-backs, Bob, from the bottom going up, they played well against the NL West.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an otherwise disappointing season, but the Diamondbacks have actually played pretty well against the West this season. They've hit well, especially in their last 16 games. Hopefully take advantage of this struggling Giants team and sneak up on them a little bit.
We are set for baseball. Josh Colmenter for the D-backs, Tim Lincecum for the Giants, but there is more roster news. It's the end of an era. The latest on J.J. Putz. His days with the D-backs are over. Cindy Brunson has the latest on that. First pitch coming up from Chase Field. Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink.
Welcome back to Chase Field. Cindy Brunson with you. Field level as Josh Colmenter looks to be a part of the reason why the San Francisco Giants suffer a season-high 6th straight loss. First, we want to let you know a big roster move that was made today. In case you missed it, J.J. Putz is no longer with the organization, designated for assignment, and Ender Enciarte was activated from the 7-day concussion disabled list. Putz appeared 175 games in 4 seasons with the D-backs. His 83 saves, ranking 2nd in club history. JJ now on his thoughts about the departure and how he found out.
I'm not really surprised. I kind of had this feeling that something was like this was going to happen. I just didn't know when. I had a really good talk with Gibby and KT and those guys last night after the game, and they're just first-class people, and they had to make a decision, and this was probably the most logical one to make.
J.J. Putz not looking to take any sort of minor league assignment anywhere in the big leagues, but skipper Kirk Gibson does hope that he does latch on with a contender and is able to put a bow on a very successful career. We are getting ready for Goldie versus Lincecum. So far, it has been advantage America's first baseman. Will that continue? D-backs Nation hope so. Get the popcorn ready. We're ready for first pitch right after this.
High 5 in a row, 8 of their last 10. They are just 7-9 in the month of June, and tonight they face for the Diamondbacks our Arizona Ford starting pitcher Josh Colmenter, his 13th start this year. Josh already has a save against the Giants this season. Now he's looking for a win. Here's Miguel Montero.
You have to hit spot with his fastball, location, and pretty much his secondary staff have to be able to throw for a strike and for a ball, whatever he need to. But for the most part, I don't think he's really been throwing the ball bad.
The numbers on Josh Colmenter, 4-4, and ERA just over 4.
Yeah, coming off a shaky outing against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. His last time out went 6 innings, gave up 8 hits and 6 runs in that ball game. Uncharacteristically wild, walked 3 and fell behind in the count on a number of hitters.
Diamondbacks and Giants, an NL West matchup, first of 3 here at Chase Field this weekend. Gregor Blanco steps in, and we are underway with strike one, says plate umpire Dan Isonia. Blanco 263 on the year. Quickly it is 0-2. The Giants are without Angel Pagan. He hasn't played since last Saturday when they hosted Colorado. He's got a bad back referred to as back tightness. An MRI found no structural damage. He did have an epidural injection in his back. They don't think he'll have to go on the DL, but it is unlikely we'll see him this weekend. And Bob, just in watching the Giants, for me, he's the guy that makes them go. So it seems like a big loss for San Francisco when Pagan's not in there.
Yeah, no question. He's their motor. He's a guy that gets on base, makes things happen offensively. He's a stolen base threat defensively, covers a lot of ground out there in center field. They're going to miss him for a few days.
He's been making some progress, not as much as they'd hoped. He actually got here ahead of the Giants. He flew into Scottsdale this week for a second opinion. And they had more tests after the MRI, and he has not yet been cleared to play. He did take batting practice today for Bruce Bochy in his 8th season as their skipper. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Gregor Blanco. Called strike 3. Ring him up and sit him down. Here is the lineup for the Giants tonight against Cole Mentor.
Well, we've seen Gregor Blanco in the top spot. He'll be followed by Hunter Pence. Buster Posey playing first base tonight. Good career numbers against Josh Colmentor. Pablo Sandoval at third base. Michael Morse out in left field. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. Hector Sanchez doing the catching tonight. A-Ray Adrianza at second base. And Tim Lincecum, the right-hander, doing the pitching for the Giants.
Hunter Pence steps in. Pence hitting .301. That's about a 20-point increase from last year. But he's got only 28 RBIs in 73 games. Look at that RBI number right there. This is a guy that drove in 99 a season ago. And much of that is a result of his batting second in the order. 63 starts in the 2-hole. And he's been productive in this spot, just in kind of a different way. One and two.
Well, if you've never seen Hunter Pence before, it's very apparent that he has never been introduced to decaf. This guy is a raw nerve. Those pants hiked up above the knee. It's a look you don't see often. Guys that wear the knock socks usually hike those pants up just below the knee. Pence goes above.
It's like his basement was just flooded. Hunter Pence tonight playing in his 245th consecutive game. That is the longest active streak in the major leagues. And when he thinks there's a chance he won't play, if there's even an inkling he might get a day off, he goes and immediately confronts Bruce Bochy and goes, "What are you doing?" Red hot right now with the hit streak. Just over the head of Tim Flannery down there at third.
Tim Flannery was a very good second baseman in his playing days for the Padres. He needed that agility to get out of the way of that rope.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Just does get a piece of it. 78 miles an hour.
Pence is one of those rarities in Major League Baseball, a guy who hits for power yet chokes up on the bat. I mean, he's a good inch and a half up off the knob of that bat. Still gets enough bat speed, enough barrel to drive the ball out of the ballpark or into the gaps.
3 and 2. Yeah, this is one of the strongest guys in the game, and it is something to watch him take batting practice. Just
wiry strong.
Oh, raw strength. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Off the fifth, shallow right field near the dirt over there, and Goldie's got it for the second out.
Now we have a moment. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda dealers' keys to the ball game. Got to watch the first pitch against this Giants offense. They're third in plate appearances in the National League when they swing at the first pitch. Second most first pitch hits. Third most first pitch homers. And as far as Paul Goldschmidt, Tim Lincecum are concerned, or as far as we're concerned, history can repeat itself.
Buster Posey. Comenter misses with an off-speed pitch to start Posey off. It's 1-0. Tim Lincecum gets ready to face Paul Goldschmidt in the home half of the first. Strike one.
Right, you heard Miguel Montero talking about Josh Comenter, and one of his keys was the ability to throw his secondary pitches for strikes, and he's done that already in the first inning through a changeup for a called strike 3 to Blanco. Dropping that curveball in there for called strikes. That's always a good sign early in the game.
Dan Isonia behind the plate. 1-2 is down the right field line. That's a fair ball. Power over to cut it off. Posey has a 2-out single. A look at the Diamondbacks behind Josh Comenter. It's our mid-first bank starting defense.
David Peralta in left, Gerardo Parra in right. Good to see Ender Inciarte back off the 7-day concussion disabled list. He'll be out in center field. It'll be Martin Prado and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield. Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Miguel Montero doing the catching for right-hander Josh Comenter.
Ender Inciarte activated from the 7-day concussion DL, and J.J. Putz, as we told you at the top of the show, designated for assignment to make room on the roster for Inciarte. Here's the Panda at 265 and 9 homers. Switch hitter batting from the left-hand side against the righty Comenter. Drives it to Inciarte in center, and he can't get there. It gets behind him and rolls to the wall. Here comes Posey. He will score, and the Panda is headed for third.
I believe that's been ruled a triple all the way. Pitches up and out over the plate. Sandoval stays on it. Inciarte looked like he was fooled a little bit. Took a deeper line, tried to make an adjustment at the very end and come in and make the diving catch. And once it gets by him, David Peralta there to back up the play, but unfortunately it got by him as well.
And they'll cool off Buster Posey, who scored from first on the play. Sandoval's second triple. He's at third, a run in, and here's big Michael Morse. Michael Morse has been a real difference maker for these Giants. Last year, 13 homers, 27 RBIs. This year, he has already got those totals and then some in 17 fewer games. He split last year between Seattle and Baltimore.
The Giants lead the National League in a couple of categories, and we've seen them both here in this inning. They've scored 50 first-run innings this year, the most in the National League, and they've also scored 133 two-out runs, most in the National League.
Morse code. It's a signal that only he can read. 1-1. This guy has really fit in well here. Says he's more of a fan than a player on the Giants. Looks around the locker room, and there are guys that have done so much in their careers. Makes him excited to get to the ballpark every day. Panda's already a mess down there at third. Two and two.
Now, Morse is one of those guys a lot of scouts around baseball would describe him as a nice complementary player, which means he'll be a nice guy on a team that has other people who will carry the load, answer to the media, be the star caliber player of the team. Just let him go about his business, and he has done that for the Giants.
Comes into tonight with an 8-game hitting streak, batting about .390 during his streak. So it's going to be at least a 25-pitch first for Josh Comenter. The numbers on Morse during his 8-game streak. got 13 homers this year. 9 of them have come away from AT&T Park. Michael Moore's productive seasons with the Washington Nationals, 2009 to 2012, at 67 home runs during that span. A lot of health issues, but so far so good for him in San Francisco this year. Another 2-2. Comenter misses, and it's full.
Bit of an eye roll there from Josh Comenter as Morse fouls off another pitch, extending this inning even farther. Yeah, sometimes a pitcher will throw a pitch in a location where you expect to either get a swing and a miss or weak contact, and the guy fouls it off, forces you to throw another pitch. Used to see that look from Greg Maddux all the time.
He misses there, and it's a 2-out walk. Giants have runners on the corners for Brandon Crawford. I think it was Pedro Martinez that said pitchers hate to throw pitches when they don't have to.
Oh, yeah. It's been kind of an ugly turnaround last 3 starts for Josh Comenter. Some of that could be familiarity. The more starts you rack up, the more video scouting that teams get on you, more looks they get as a starter now as opposed to a relief pitcher. There were times where Josh might come in twice in a series but only face 6 or 7 hitters. Now he's got to work his way through an entire lineup. Everybody gets a look at him.
You saw the difference. 0-2 in his last 3 starts. The ERA over 6. He's got Sandoval at third, Morse at first, and he'll work to Brandon Crawford. Josh has allowed at least 4 runs in each of his last 3 starts. Giants already with 1 here, 2 outs in the first. Brandon Crawford, 257, 7 homers. He's had a very productive month at the plate. Chases that one upstairs, 1-1. Crawford batting over .330 in June. He's hit safely in 12 of his 15 games this month. And there it is. Well hit, right field. Gerardo Parra tracks it down. Go get it, Gerardo. And Comenter keeps it a 1-run Giant first with the help of his defense. When we come back, the latest round of Lincecum versus Goldschmidt. It's 1-0 San Francisco. Parr to end the top of the first, and now Parr will lead off the bottom of the first against our Arizona Fort starting pitcher, Tim Lincecum. Here is Giant skipper Bruce Bochy.
Command the ball, throw strikes, uses defense. Timmy's been throwing the ball fine, and if he goes out there with the stuff he's been pitching with the last couple starts, he'll give us a chance to win. That's all we ask, and this team's been tough on him. It's a good hitting ball club, but he's got to locate today.
Lincecum just turned 30 years old earlier this week. You see the whip, it's about 1.5. That's the worst mark of his career.
And it's been a struggle on the road for Tim Lincecum. In 5 road starts this year, his ERA is just under 7, the highest among all National League starters with at least 5 starts on the road.
Trouble looms. Gerardo Parr leads it off for the D-backs. And Parr has been scuffling a bit lately at the plate, 259 on the year. Last 2 weeks, he's got 1 extra base hit and 1 RBI. Lincecum staked to a 1-0 lead with 2 outs in the first. A Posey single, a Sandoval triple. And Lincecum having problems throwing his first strike. It's 3-0. There's a strike.
Yeah, you see a fastball slider changeup combination from Lincecum. He'll throw his changeup and slider about the same percentage during the course of a ball game. Occasionally he'll try to throw a 2-seam fastball with some sinking action. Hasn't had a lot of luck getting movement on that pitch, however.
In the air to left. Michael Moore started in, now backs up, and he's got it in front of the track for the first out. This is the lineup for the D-backs against big-time Timmy Jim.
Yeah, we've seen Gerardo Parr at the top. Chris Owings batting second tonight. You know all about Goldie against Lincecum. Ridiculous video game numbers. Miguel Montero cleaning up tonight. Aaron Hill at second base. Martin Prado at third. David Peralta out in left field. Ender Inciarte in center. And Josh Colmenter, the right-hander, on the mound for the D-backs.
Chris Owings in the 2-hole tonight for the D-backs. Strike 1. Owings 283, 6 homers. He has hit in 5 straight games and 8 of his last 9. Goldie on deck. Is hit in the air to shallow left. Crawford's out there, and here comes Goldie to face Lincecum.
He's a good pitcher. It's just a few games, so I mean he's struck me out. He's got me out plenty of times, and it's not really about that. We're just going to try to go out and play well tonight and try to win 2 or 3 games this series.
The latest round. And Goldie steps in, leading the National League in hits.
He has struck out 5 times in 24 at-bats against Tim Lincecum, but when you've homered 7 times, it's kind of a wash.
Look at these numbers.
Crazy.
13 hits in 24 at-bats, including 7 home runs and 17 RBIs. There's a strike, 1-1.
Change up that time at the knees on the outside corner. That's been the kryptonite for Goldie recently. Fastballs or changeups out there on the outside corner at the knees. That's kryptonite for just about every hitter.
1-2 is into right for a base hit, and on it goes.
Lincecum's probby happy it was just a single.
Exactly. I was just thinking that.
26, Miguel
Like a slider that just kind of fluttered up there on the outside part of the plate, as he likes to do. 2 strike counts. Goldie just stays right on it, drives it to the opposite field for the first base hit of the game for the D-backs.
A 2-out base runner at first for Miguel Montero. Miggy 271, 10 homers and 40 RBIs. And that 271 average for Miggy, that's a 40-point bump over his number last year. And he is only 1 homer and 2 runs batted in away from matching his totals from all of last season.
Maybe you can get that out of the way right here.
I like the timing.
Lincecum is a guy you can run on. Takes a little while to unload with that unorthodox delivery that he features out there on the mound. And Hector Sanchez behind the plate has thrown out 22% of the attempted base stealers this year. But if Goldie gets out there, gets a normal lead, gets a jump, he should be able to steal on Lincecum.
Goldie 6 stolen bases in 8 attempts this season. He's back safely. Giants defense shaded well over to the right field side of the field. You've got Crawford, the shortstop, playing on the first base side of second. 1-1 is in there for a strike. A little low, thought Miggy, but Dan Isonia says 1-2. That's a strike. Had him leaning there.
A little flinch that time by Goldie. And with 2 strikes, that's the time to go ahead and try it. If you do happen to get thrown out at second base, you got Miguel Montero leading off in the bottom half of the second. And if you make it successfully, put yourself in scoring position. Maybe Miggy could come up with a big 2-out hit.
He did not go. That's Dale Scott, the crew chief, down at third. 2-2. Goldie takes off for second. The pitch is inside, and Paul Goldschmidt has his 7th stolen base of the year.
Great pitch to run on right there. A change up from Tim Lincecum. Obviously, that pitch is going to take a little longer to get to home plate. Sanchez fielded it on his knees and didn't even risk a throw.
3-2, 2 outs to Miggy. Got him. We are through 1. D-backs trail it 1-0.
Fans come out to the ballpark for the skate.
night, Elvis night, who could forget beach night? Well, now here comes the one that you have been waiting for. It's Star Wars Day. Star Wars Day, just 1 month away, Sunday, July 20th. It's the D-backs and the Cubs. And only fans who purchase a special Star Wars ticket package will receive the custom Josh Colmenter Jedi bobblehead. For more information, visit dbacks.com/Star Wars. But keep in mind, you have to get the special Star Wars ticket package to get the Coley Jedi bobblehead. And he actually owns that robe. It's his own personal thing, which is kind of scary. Hector Sanchez leads off the second. He wears it around.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen it on a road trip yet, but it wouldn't surprise me a bit to see Josh climb aboard the team plane wearing that robe.
You know what? It wouldn't. It would almost seem normal. 1-1 to Sanchez, who's working behind the plates. Brandon Belt is still out with that fractured thumb, so Posey is at first and Sanchez catching. This is lifted in the air near the D-back dugout and out of play.
Sanchez pretty much a double. He won't walk. 5 base on balls in 121 at bats this season. Usually backup catchers don't draw a lot of walks. You get to play once a week, you're going to get your hacks in.
Take advantage of your chances. Well, Sanchez, 25 starts for the Giants this year. He started 1 game at first base. All his other starts have been behind the plate. But he's not exactly taking advantage. He's got just 7 hits in his last 55 at bats. This is playable. Third base for Prado. Ray Adrianza getting the start at second. Second base is still a revolving door with Scutaro still injured, and they've tried just about everybody over there, and tonight it's Adrianza.
Well, they like his glove an awful lot. Very slick defender, but as you can see by the numbers right there, not exactly what you need offensively. He's up there at a stronger side, if you can believe that. He's a .216 hitter as a left-handed batter, 176 as a righty.
He's a good guy to have on your bench. He started 10 games at second for the Giants. He's played some shortstop. He's played some third base, so he could play everywhere, but ideally not every night. And roll over to second, right to Aaron Hill. I told you, Josh Colmenter, he'll go out. This is at Comic-Con not too long ago, and roam the streets in his Jedi robe.
Pitcher number 55, Tim Lincecum.
Challenge people to lightsaber fights. All kinds of stuff.
That's saying something when you go to Comic-Con and they say, who's the weird dude in the robe?
Yeah, if you stand out at Comic-Con, that's a problem.
You're doing something.
Now at 40 pitches for Colmenter, 28 for strikes. Lincecum drives that one into the corner and left. Long run for Peralta, and he's got it at the wall. David Peralta ends the second. 2 sparkling catches by the D-backs corner outfielders. Parra to end the first and Peralta to end the second. Some more D-backs D. It's 1-0 Giants at Chase. has all your online local sports coverage you won't find anywhere else. Tyler Lockman will have his post-game analysis. Also reaction from the D-backs clubhouse here at Chase Field. And the Suns wrap up their pre-draft workouts. All that and more right now. FoxSportsArizona.com. Aaron Hill leads off the second for the D-backs. Hill, Prado, Peralta 5, 6, and 7 against Tim Lincecum. Aaron in there, 0 for his last 12. Another guy that has very good numbers against Tim Lincecum. In the air, right field corner. Pence has to go get it, and it's foul. Do you recall a matchup anywhere when you were playing that was Goldie Lincecum-esque that just got so one-sided it got to this level?
No, not to this level. This is just ridiculous. I don't know if this has ever happened in Major League Baseball. I mean, I remember Steve Finley had great numbers against the Dodger reliever Paul Quantrill. And because of that, we used to sit Finns at least one game of every Dodger series so we could have him as the secret weapon late in the game. But, no, I mean, the home runs, the whole package. Never seen anything like it.
Lincecum spiked that one. He was doing that a number of times in his warm-up session in the bullpen prior to the game, where it looked a little sketchy. Well hit, left field, drops in front of Morse. Aaron Hill leads off the D-backs second with a base hit.
Third baseman, number 14, Martin Prado.
Hill pounding that low pitch. He'll chase a lot of high fastballs, but it seems like he handles the low fastball much better.
Martin Prado going through his usual pre-at-bat antics. 277 and 3 home runs. Martin, a day off yesterday. He's hit safely in 3 straight games and 6 of his last 7. Strike one. Yesterday, the afternoon game against the Brew Crew, the third base debut of Didi Gregorius. We'll see how often that comes up. Didi has now played second, short, and third this year. Got them all tied up that time, and it's 0-2.
Occasionally a hitter will guess location more so than pitch selection. They look in, look away, and that time it looked like Martin Prado was expecting something out over the plate. Instead, that ball tailed right in under his hands.
On the ground is short. Crawford, Adrianza, Posey, they roll the double play. Quickly 2 down for David Peralta.
Left field, number 6, David
Peralta. He's hitting .314, Bob, and when he came up, it was a nice story. Had a good first week. Didn't know a whole lot about him, but another 2-hit game for Peralta yesterday against Milwaukee. This kid has been a hitter up here.
Well, he's taken advantage when his work counts in his favor. Has gotten pitches to hit. He has rarely missed them, and I mean barrel them up and hit them hard.
Spins Peralta around 1-1.
And you'd like to think it's been long enough now. Teams have acquired some video scouting on David Peralta. They've seen enough of him to at least try to discern where his strengths and weaknesses are, and he still continues to hit.
2-1. Got some D-back shoes with your feet up. Here at Chase Field, roof and panels closed. Hot day outside. Nice and cozy indoors. Chopper right back to the mound. Easy play for Lincecum. And we are through 2. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Cindy Brunson has the latest on Mark Trumbo when we come back.
Back to Chase Field. Cindy Brunson with you alongside the Diamondbacks dugout where Mark Trumbo is looking on attentively. I had a chance to speak with the big guy today, and he tells me he is very close to coming back, that he's feeling really, really good, and it looks like that rehab stint is going to happen sooner rather than later. You'll recall he projected to be ready to go at the end of June. As we creep up to the end of this month, it looks like he is going to be true to his word, maybe get some rehab work in during the next 9-game road trip for the Diamondbacks. Fellas, back to you.
Cindy, thanks, and that's certainly welcome news. Mark Trumbo has been taking batting practice with the Diamondbacks, some early hitting the last couple of weeks. It's a matter of getting some game action, I guess, and get running on that foot in the outfield and on the bases.
Yeah, especially on the bases where you're forced to cut the corners, put some extra pressure on that injured foot. Watching him take batting practice today, there's no problem with the ball coming off his bat. Let's just put it that way. He was launching some missiles out of here earlier today.
A big loss, that's for sure. Leading the majors in home runs when he suffered that stress fracture in his foot. 3 weeks into the season, he's got 7 homers, and all of a sudden he's out 2 months. Gregor Blanco leads off the third against Josh Comenter. Pitch number 45 on the way, all ready for Josh. Little flare out to left center, and Ciarte Peralta, and David Peralta is there for the first outs.
Before that at bat by Blanco, Hunter Pence and Michael Morse saw 9 pitches each in their at bats. 18 total pitches. The other 7 Giants hitters saw 23 pitches combined. Getting back to that aggressive nature of this Giants offense, that first pitch is close to the strike zone. They're going to be hacking at it.
There is Hunter Pence, that 9-pitch at bat in the first against Comenter before he finally popped out to Goldie at first. And again he swings at the first one. Again it's an off-speed pitch from Comenter, trying to take advantage perhaps of Pence's aggressiveness and jump ahead in the count 0-1. And Pence is hot right now. He's hit in 6 straight. He's got 12 hits in his last 6 games, including a pair of home runs.
Since the middle of May, these guys have been red hot in the National League. We just saw Jonathan Lucroy. We can attest to the fact that he's hot. Hunter Pence, Pablo Sandoval on that list.
Yanks that one foul down the left field line into the upper deck. Hunter Pence famously rides his scooter to the ballpark all the time. It's got a little motor on it. Even his bobblehead doll is on a scooter. But in May, the scooter was stolen. Taken from outside a restaurant. Didn't report it to police. Instead, he offered a signed bobblehead as a reward. No questions asked. And the scooter was eventually returned. It was a high drama in San Francisco for a while, this whole scooter caper. He said, you know, my favorite things, baseball equipment, maybe my laptop and my scooter. The only possessions he really cared about. He said he had a dream that he saw someone riding it and tackled him. Isonia rings him up. Second strikeout for Josh Comenter. What do you always say? Give it to a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. Give it to a kid.
Well, sometimes it doesn't go over all that well. Hey.
Well, hopefully that gentleman will give it to a kid also.
Buster Posey.
Just a natural reaction. You hand a ball to a kid, they want to throw it. Nice try, sir.
Buster Posey singled and scored in the first, came in on the Sandoval triple. Brandon Belt, notorious D-backs killer, still on the DL, needed surgery to have 2 pins inserted into his fractured left thumb. Broke his thumb May 9th. Got hit by the Dodgers' Paul Maholm. And so they have been holding down the fort over there at first with a bunch of different guys, Posey included. There's a called strike. Belt took batting practice earlier this week. Just had the cast taken off a couple of weeks ago, and the next step would be a rehab assignment. So they think they'll have Brandon Belt back soon. But fortunately for the D-backs, we're missing him in this series because he has really been a problem over the last year or two. And in the meantime, first base, nothing new to Buster Posey. Made 16 starts at first last year. He's got about 100 games over there in his career. And Sanchez tonight behind the plate. 2-2. Little flare. He dunks it into right for a base hit. Posey is 2 for 2. Comenter had retired 6 in a row.
Third baseman Pablo Sandoval.
Here's Sandoval.
Good hitters, guys like Buster Posey that amass a lot of hits over the course of the season. They're not all line drives. That time he recognized an off-speed pitch up and out over the plate. Kind of an inside-out swing, little floater into shallow right field, but they all count.
Sandoval had been 2 for 15 against Josh Comenter in his career before he had an RBI triple in his first at bat tonight. Hit it to the gap in left center field. It got between Inciarte and Peralta, and Posey scored from first. Up and in, 2-0. Here's the Panda back in the first.
I think Inciarte got fooled a little bit, thought this ball was hit harder than it really was, and then Peralta took a shallow line to back up the play, kind of fanned on it. That allowed the Panda to make it into third base on his belly.
Sandoval has 18 triples now in his career. 5 of them have come against the Diamondbacks. Misses away. It's full 3-2. Three and two, 2 outs. Posey will be off from first on the pitch. There goes the runner. This is fouled away. He has had to work. .64 pitches, 43 for strikes. $4 beer here at the ballpark, a value item at Chase Field. Another 3-2. Another foul ball.
65 total pitches in the game for Colementor. 19 of those have ended up as foul balls.
What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me either the Giants are putting together some good at bats and fouling off the borderline pitches, or Josh is putting the ball where he needs to. I mean, he has to pitch above high, above the top of the strike zone, on the corners or farther off the corners. And when you do that, the batters are just going to get a piece and stay alive, and unfortunately this time ultimately work a base on balls.
Second walk issued by Colementor.
Well, what it'll do, obviously, is run up a pitch count rather quickly. When opposing hitters are fouling off pitches, that's what tends to drive up that pitch count more so than just long innings and lots of base hits.
And when you put runners on base ahead of this guy, it can become from a long inning into a big inning. Morris walked his first time. He's hit an 8 straight, batting about .390 during his hitting streak. Strike one. Colementor jumps ahead 0-2. Michael Morse is a guy that is just crushing right-hand pitching this season. It's backwards, .337 against righties.
If I had to venture a guess, I'd say the lefties are getting him out with a lot of off-speed pitches away, change-ups away, backdoor breaking balls.
This is upstairs there. Well, Morse has always been a guy that has hit right-handers better than lefties, but this year those splits are very dramatic, only .184 against left-hand pitching. Colementor about to throw pitch number 70 through 2 2/3. It's even 2-2.
I don't know if Michael Morse is a golfer, but he's got a little bit of a golf grip going on that bat. A little bit of an overlap with the pinky finger from the top hand kind of overlapping the bottom hand, giving him even more leverage on that big bat. Get those hands as far down to the knob as you can. Look at that. He has 3 fingers and a thumb on that top hand wrapped around the bat.
What would that get him?
It gives you a little more leverage. You get all the way down to the knob of the bat like that, and then even overlap your hands. Obviously, you still got to swing the bat, but physics would tell you you get the most leverage when you have more bat outside your hand than in your hand.
And he's a big dude up there at 6'5", 245. Two. High in the air, right center field, Gerardo Parra. And Colementor strands 2. Home half of the third at Chase. D-backs trail it 1-0. brought to you by your helpful Valley Honda dealers in their blue shirts. It's their job to be helpful. RamTrucks.com pool area on a Friday night here at Chase Field. Nice and cozy indoors. Giants and Diamondbacks set for the home half of the third. And Ender Inciarte will lead it off for the D-backs against Tim Lincecum. Ender reinstated from the 7-day concussion DL today as J.J. Putz was designated for assignment to make room on the roster for Ender. You'll recall he suffered that concussion last Thursday in Houston. Took a knee to the head when he slid into second base. And Ender, the bat has really come around as of late. He's hit safely in 12 of his last 15 games. And it's good to see him back. This was Ender Inciarte last week in Houston.
Full speed, went into his slide and caught that knee on the right side of his head. Really jarred his neck, stayed in the ball game, went on to steal third base, and then later had to come out of the game.
And unfortunately, it meant the end of the line here in Arizona for J.J. Putz. At least it certainly seems so. He will not accept a minor league rehab assignment, he says. So we wish J.J. all the best. 3 balls and a strike. Three, 2. To short, Brandon Crawford. Let's take a look at the Giants behind Tim Lincecum. It's our mid-first bank starting defense.
Michael Morse out in left field. Gregor Blanco in center. Hunter Pence over in right field. It'll be Sandoval and Crawford on the left side of the infield. Adrianza and Posey on the right side. Hector Sanchez doing the catching for right-hander Tim Lincecum.
Josh Colmenter. First pitch swinging, rolls it to short. Crawford one more time. 2 up, 2 down in the third. Well, Tim Lincecum, now that he's 30 years old, which is hard to imagine, says he is more of a cerebral pitcher. Says he's always been his hardest critic, but now that he's a little older, he's learned to accept the process a bit easier, not beat himself up all the time, which he says he used to do a lot. He was so quick to judge himself, but now he's learned to take things day to day, makes it easier to get through. Because as Lincecum says, they call it the grind for a reason. And he's learning how to get through better mentally and emotionally. With age comes wisdom. And he's had to get smarter about the way he pitches as well, because the velocity just is not there like it was before.
And even with all that figured in, when push comes to shove, he's a competitor first and foremost, which is probably why Goldie's been able to put up the numbers he has. Lincecum refuses to give in.
You know, it's kind of admirable in a weird way.
In an odd kind of a way, yeah.
I mean, you would think, well, I bet you get asked this all the time. BB, why don't they just walk Goldie? Just walk him. But Lincecum's not doing that.
Nope.
If you were Bochy, would you walk him?
Well, obviously, it depends on game situation, you know. I mean, yeah, if I'm in a tie ball game and Goldie's coming up with nobody out, nobody on,
yeah,
well, you got to go after him there. You don't want to put the winning run on base, but you know, if he's up there with runners in scoring position and I have a base open, well, sure, leave the bat in the rack.
Boy, how do they get along? I bet he just dominates the conversation. Now look, he's eating her fries.
I mean, you're asking a guy that walked Sammy Sosa in a spring training game. Oh, they're happy right now.
But it's funny, even your competitive nature kicked in there when you really thought about it. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You want to get them out, right?
I mean, every player at this level has enough confidence in their ability that if they execute, if they make the pitch they need to make, I should be able to get this guy out.
Well, Lincecum says he just has to start leaning a little bit more on his strength and not necessarily worry about what Goldie's weakness might be. He still hasn't found it yet. But he says he knows Goldie has some holes here and there, and he's just got to mix stuff up a bit. Shoots that the other way to left. Michael Morse is there. It's a 1-2-3 third. D-backs trail it 1-0.
By signing up for one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game. Tonight's contestant took home a Martin Prado game piece, and I believe they won a $100 gift certificate at the team shop here at the ballpark.
Got some Girl Scouts in the house, part of our parade down on the field before the ball game. You ever do the Cub Scouts, anything like that?
Yeah. I was one merit badge, one lousy merit badge short of my Eagle Scout.
Wow, really?
And the only reason I didn't get it was because the only time they offered life-saving was during the summer when I was playing baseball, and there was never a way to work it out. Back then we didn't have indoor pools where you could go take the life-saving class, so one merit badge short.
Tragic.
It is a real tragedy.
I think I packed it in after the Weeblo badge. Brandon Crawford leads off the fourth. So you were helping old ladies across the street and all that stuff?
All of it. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Wow. I thought you were putting me on.
No, I'm right there, man. I'm telling you, summer camp, I had to pass on that because it was baseball season.
Dedication.
Playing on 2 or 3 different teams every summer, it was kind of tough to make it to summer camp and take that life-saving merit badge. Of course, now they have merit badges for how to put together a playlist on your iPod.
These kids today. Crawford drives that to right field. Power for a wall. Fans, tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces, serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They are watching right now around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. And to all of you servicemen and women, we say thank you for watching and thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Hector Sanchez, the catcher. On the ground to Goldie. He'll take it himself. Quickly 2 down, and Colmenter could really use some quick innings here if he could steal 1 or 2 and kind of make up ground in his pitch count after throwing 31 pitches in the first and 31 pitches again in the third.
Well, how many times have we seen this? Josh Colmenter bounced off the mound to run over and cover first if necessary. And Paul Goldschmidt just going to the mound, giving him a chance to catch his breath, make sure he's ready to go to work against the next hitter before jogging back to his position at first base.
Well, he's got 2 outs on 6 pitches here in the fourth as Ray Adrianza steps in. Adrianza has hit in 3 straight. He has started 5 of the Giants' last 6 games. Little second base, little shortstop.
Not exactly what Josh and Miguel Montero had in mind here. You get 2 quick outs on relatively few pitches. You want to attack that next hitter. You figure Adrianza is going to be taking a strike at least in this at bat. They don't want to have a quick inning, get back in the field, and let the Diamondbacks come up to the plate.
Gives this a ride to right. It's over the head of Parr and off the wall. Adrianza will stop at second with his 3rd double. So the Giants will continue the inning and at least clear the pitcher spot and force Colmenter to throw more pitches.
Pitcher,
you fall behind those guys at the bottom of the order, even the guys that are struggling to hit the ball this season, and everybody becomes a hitter. 2-0, 3-1. Adrianza off the bottom of the wall out there in right field.
He's in scoring position with 2 outs for Lincecum, who flied out his first time. One and one. Josh Colmenter. D-backs have won 7 of Josh's 12 starts this year. Trailing 1-0 here in the fourth. He strikes out Lincecum, and that ends the inning. CenturyLink, your link to what's next coming up. It's round number 2. is brought to you in part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Bluebell Ice Cream. Celebrate summer with Bluebell's newest flavor, Magic Cookie Bar. It's a home run. Chase Field, downtown Phoenix. D-backs have been out-hit by the Giants 4-2. They trail it 1-0 as we start the home half of the fourth against Tim Lincecum, who has retired the last 5 he's faced. They'll work to Chris Owings, Paul Goldschmidt, and Miguel Montero, 2, 3, and 4 in the Arizona fourth. CO popped up his first time. The roller the other way. Posey takes it himself, and here comes Goldie.
Anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Paul Goldschmidt a single in the first against Lincecum, so now make it 14 hits in 25 at bats. And round 2 tonight is underway. 7 home runs, the most Lincecum has allowed versus one opponent. The next most is 4 by Chase Headley and Ryan Howard. Ball 1. She has the Lincecum shirt. He has the Goldschmidt shirt. Tim Lincecum, it's amazing how he keeps trying to find ways to get Goldie out.
One thing we've seen a lot of already tonight, and I've noticed it when Hector Sanchez catches, he likes to use the head shake, and I think that's a really wise thing to do, especially when you have a matchup like this where the hitter has gotten the better of it over the years. Just have the pitcher shake his head a couple of times. Might plant a seed of doubt in Goldie's mind if he's trying to guess along with Lincecum or remember past at bats. What did he throw me in a 3-1 count when we played him at AT&T Park earlier this year? Well, if you get the pitcher out there just shaking his head no from time to time, it could throw off your rhythm as a hitter.
Isonia says strike 2. So he's having Lincecum intentionally shake him off.
Right.
To try and trick Goldie.
Yeah, it can work. I've always been a big fan of it, especially for guys that I thought were guess hitters, trying to guess along with the pitches that I was calling or guess along with the pitcher out there on the mound.
Goldie has reached twice in 2 plate appearances. I don't think those kids are going to make it. I sense a divide.
Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Most RBI against right-handed pitching in the National League this season. A couple of Diamondbacks right there in the second and third spots in the National League. Only Giancarlo Stanton has more RBIs against righties this season.
Miguel Montero struck out his first time. And Miggy has been a run producer as of late against everybody. He's at 270 on the year, 5 homers and 13 RBIs in his last 14 games. Goldie stole a base off Lincecum. Back in the first, his 7th of the year. Short hops it at third, and Goldschmidt is in at second with 2 outs.
Goldie breaks for second. Brandon Crawford, the shortstop, was covering the bag at second, leaving only one defender on the entire left side of the infield. And I'll be doggone if Miguel Montero doesn't hit it right to the Panda at third base.
Aaron Hill had a base hit his first time. And once again, just like in the first, D-backs have Paul Goldschmidt at second with 2 outs.
Base hit to the outfield. I think Glenn Sherlock's going to be extremely aggressive with Paul Goldschmidt. Michael Morrison left field, not the greatest arm, and he's very tentative charging balls. Hunter Pence out there in right field just has issues throwing. Flings it in there sidearm from right field. He plays the fade pretty well. Blanco probably has the best arm in the outfield for the Giants right now out there in center. But as I said, I think Glenn Sherlock is going to have that left arm waving if Aaron Hill can get that ball into the outfield.
Oh, 0-2. Up the middle and into center. Glenn Sherlock is indeed waving in Goldie. The throw is not in time, and the Diamondbacks have tied it up. Big 2-out hit by Aaron Hill. It's 1-1.
Breaking ball that stayed on that outer third of the plate and up. Clean single into center field, and Sherles indeed is waving that arm. Come on in, big boy, you're going to score easy.
Aaron Hill 2 for 2. We're all tied up. Here's Martin Prado. A wing from Glenn Sherlock at third. So Aaron came in 0 for his last 12. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Prado hit into a double play his first time.
Once again, even though he wasn't credited with the stolen base, Paul Goldschmidt running on the pitch that Miguel Montero grounded to the left side very easily could have been an inning-ending double play, but because Goldie was on the move, he makes it to second base and scores on the Aaron Hill base hit.
Otto, a long look down to Glenn Sherlock at third. Aaron Hill, a runner at first. 2-0. Prado is hitting .263 for the season at the end of May, but he's had a very good June, hitting over .320 this month. And with fresh legs after the day off yesterday. 2-0 is upstairs, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Taking all the way, 3-1. .60 pitches now for Tim Lincecum, 35 for strikes. In the air to center. Blanco backing up, looking up at the wall, and he won't get there. Aaron Hill will score. The D-backs will take a 2-1 lead. A 2-out single by Hill, a 2-out double by Prado, his 13th, 2-1 D-backs.
Favorable hitter's count, got a good pitch to hit, fastball down and out over the plate. See what Blanco was doing right there. If you're going to run all the way back to the wall, keep your eye on the ball, try to make the catch. Looked like he took his head off the ball and just kind of blindly stuck his glove up in the air as that ball hit right at the base of the center field fence. Prado with his 13th double of the season. Now, if you're going to run this far, look at all the way into the glove. He was looking for the wall as he made that jump right there.
He appeared to have no idea where the wall was. Where he was in relation to it in any regard. It's Prado's 13th double, and it's 2-1 D-backs. Here's Peralta. Hit one back to the mound his first time up. Right to Crawford at short. But the Diamondbacks take a 2-1 lead. Big 2-out RBIs from Hill and then Prado. And through 4, it's 2-1 D-backs. Well, a big announcement here from all of us at Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs. Don Shea Brown, one of our great crew here that covers the games. His wife Nicole just gave birth to a little baby boy. Declan, 5.5 pounds, 19 inches. Congratulations, Don Shea and Nicole.
Absolutely. What a bundle of joy.
He's not there to man his camera, though, unfortunately. No, we're kidding. He actually controls, that's the remote controlled camera, and Don Shea operates that. So he's got his eye on it. Gregor Blanco leads off the 5th for the Giants. Now 2-1 D-backs. Blanco so far 0 for 2. Boy, the Giants, you go back to June 8th, they were rolling, man. 42-21. Their best 63-game start since 1962, but then suddenly it has come crashing down. Over a stretch of 11 days, the Giants' NL West lead went from 9.5 games to 4. They have lost a season-high 5 straight and 8 of 10. Had some key injuries. We've talked about that. And some closer issues with Romo. And Brian Sabean is looking at the trade deadline 6 weeks away as Blanco works a leadoff walk. Yeah, there it is. Look at this last 9 games. It's been rough going.
Boy, especially that starter's ERA nearly 6. Bullpen not much better. And as you mentioned, their closer Sergio Romo had a couple of hiccups. He's not physically a very big, strong guy, and occasionally he kind of runs out of gas when he's used repeatedly. So tried to stay away from him a little bit, give him a chance to regroup. Matt Cain has struggled.
And Brian Sabean was asked, well, what are you going to do? He's like, look, you're not going to execute a trade this time of year. 6 weeks maybe, but not right now. So they will not be panicking or jumping to make a move right now. Hunter Pence 0 for 2. In fact, Sabean was honest. He says, look, they were all surprised when the Giants, ran away 21 over 500. They knew they were good. They didn't think they were going to be 21 over 500. So there had to be a little bit of regression to the mean, as it were. And they're keeping that in perspective. And Belt is due back soon. Keeping an eye on Blanco at first, who is 6 for 7 in his stolen base attempts this year. Comenter now at 90 pitches, 57 for strikes. Diamondbacks bullpen is busy. And the thing about Josh Comenter as a starter, this is generally right now where he kind of gets to the wall. He's been over 100 pitches only twice all year. Oliver Perez, the left-hander, now throwing in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. And now Mike Harkey will go out to the mound. Colementer's high for the year is 101 pitches. That was 2 starts ago, a loss to the Astros here at Chase Field. 6 balls in a row right now.
And obviously that's cause for concern. Josh Colementer's a guy that has to be in and around the strike zone. Needs to jump ahead in the count to make his off-speed pitches more effective and that high elevated fastball more effective. So with 6 straight balls here to start top half of the 5th inning. Harkey out there to stall for a little bit of time. Last season, the 2013 season, only 2 players in the big leagues led their teams in homers, RBIs, and stolen bases, and they're both here at the ballpark tonight. Hunter Pence led the Giants in those categories, and Paul Goldschmidt led the Diamondbacks.
Two 2-0 to Pence.
I guess with Pence, the power is a little bit surprising, and for Goldie, the speed a little bit surprising. But the bottom line is they led their team in homers, RBIs, and stolen bases.
There's a strike, 3-1. Yeah, Pence last year had 22 stolen bases in 25 attempts. He's a sneaky base runner, a lot like Goldie. 3-1.
Boy, you can see how antsy Hunter Pence is. We joked about him not being familiar with decaf. When we had guys like this, when I was catching behind a hitter like this, I tried to make my pitcher wait as long as possible before delivering the ball. The longer you stand there and squeeze that bat handle and drop down into that stance, you have to tighten up. I would think you have to tighten up the longer you assume that particular stance.
Blanco running on the pitch. This is well hit, right center field. Ender Inciarte in front of the pool, and Blanco is back to the bag. He can really cover some ground out there in center.
Inciarte with a couple of peeks toward that wall as he's running on a dead sprint toward the RamTrucks.com pool. He was able to look away from the ball twice to see how close he was getting to that wall, and then tracks that ball right into the glove. And Josh Comenter appreciates it. Nice running catch.
Josh just trying to get through this 5th inning. 1 out. Blanco at first. Posey so far 2 for 2. He has singled twice and scored a run. Ball 1. Posey a good track record against Cole Mentor, including a pair of homers. Blanco takes off. The throw for Montero is not in time. 7 steal on the year for Blanco. And Miggy, who's had a very good record as of late in terms of throwing out base runners. They're going to stall here now as video coordinator Alan Campbell will have a look and see if there's a case for a challenge.
Well, he beats the throw right there. He gets a foot on the bag before the tag. I think, once again, the question on these slides a lot of times is, did he stay on the base? The front foot hit and then came off, but it looked like the back foot was right behind the front one as far as getting onto the base.
And they're going to let the stolen base stand without a video review. So 7th of the year for Blanco. He's at second now, 1 out. And a 2-0 count to Buster Posey. Blanco dancing around back there, making all kinds of noise. Third 3-ball count in the inning for Josh Collmentor.
8 multi-hit games in his last 11 against the Diamondbacks for Buster Posey.
He's a problem. He's been 3-0 on all 3 hitters in this inning. He has now walked 4, 2 in the inning. And he's at 99 pitches. You've got Sandoval coming up. You could go to Perez here and flip Sandoval, who's a much better hitter from the left-hand side than from the right. Maybe thinking that right here as they consider what to do.
The power numbers prorated are about even, but the average considerably higher as a left-handed hitter for Pablo Sandoval.
He has tripled, driven in a run, and walked. Strike 1. He's about 100 points better from this side than from the right.
And half as many at bats, or approximately half as many at bats. He's hit half as many home runs as a right-handed hitter, but the average considerably different.
As a lefty, 6 homers. As a right-hand hitter, 3. Collmentor ahead 0-2, now at 101. This will be the deepest in terms of pitch counts that Collmentor has gone into a game this year.
Been in that manager's seat before, and Kirk Gibson would love to get Josh Collmentor through this inning and at least give him an opportunity to win this ball game with a 1-run lead right now. And Josh is such an integral part of this staff, whether it's in the rotation or in the bullpen. Ollie Perez is locked, loaded, and ready to go at this point, but I think Kirk Gibson would like to see a ground ball double play right here, get Collmentor out of this inning, and then get him out of the ball game with a chance to win.
We got the right-hander Morse on deck. 1-2 to the Panda. Called strike 3. Two down.
think he wanted it up over the heart of the plate, trying to get another swing and a miss, or perhaps a pop-up from Sandoval, but that time the pitch straight down and away. Nipped that outside corner.
Michael Morse has walked and flied out. You've got the left hand hitting Brandon Crawford on deck. Is this for you, Cole Mentor's last hitter?
Well, once again, I know Gibby would like to give him a chance to get a win in this ball game tonight, but the bottom line is you want your team to win the ball game, and Josh has really come unglued as far as his control and command in this inning. I mean, Sandoval a much more dangerous hitter than Brandon Crawford, but bottom line is bringing home a winner for the Diamondbacks tonight, and if Crawford would happen to get up there, I think he's going to have to go to Oliver Perez.
There's a strike, 1-1. Morse didn't like it.
Yeah, I'll say one thing, the way Cole Mentor has struggled with his command this inning, he's gotten some borderline pitches, including this one that's down below the bottom of the strike zone.
I was going to say borderline is being kind.
And usually when you're spraying it around the way Josh has been this inning, the umpires make you throw it over the plate to get a called strike.
1-1. Blanco is the runner at second, Posey at first. And Cole Mentor laboring to get through 5. This is his chance right here. Misses there, 2-1. Is it harder for Cole Mentor, a guy who likes to work up in the strike zone and needs, as you said, to work up there, to pitch to a guy this big? I mean, if you're going to elevate against Michael Morse, who's 6'5", you got to get it way up there.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. But, you know, Josh is capable of doing that. That's his forte, at least for me, with this fastball, is his ability to pitch up high in the zone and get those foul balls and pop-ups and the occasional swing and a miss.
Well hit center field. Ender Inciarte near the pool, and he's got it. And Cole Mentor escapes the 5th with a 2-1 lead. They're on their feet at Chase. Brandon Webb. It's time to remind you that he is once again on the hot seat with the Brenly Committee as we ask you for your fan photos on the Twitter using the hashtag #AZFanPhoto for your chance to have Brandon select your photo and perhaps save his bacon in the eyes of the Brenly Committee. Brought to you by AT&T.
Well, you see that eye roll? Yeah, he's listening over there.
Dude, I can't help you after the critter fiasco of earlier this week. that was not a good moment. Ender Inciarte leads off the 5th. So Josh Comenter wiggles off the hook and gets through 5 after a pair of walks in that 5th inning. A strikeout of Sandoval and 2 deep fly balls to center field, tracked down by Ender Inciarte, who made 2 nice plays out there. The line on Josh Comenter, 109 pitches. His high for the year had been 101. Over the mound and into center. Ender Inciarte gets it started. And how about the outfield defense we have seen tonight from the D-backs? They are our APS Energy All-Stars. Parr in right, and then Peralta in left, and Inciarte in center.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Pitchers love that kind of defense from their outfielders. All 3 Diamondbacks outfielders covering a lot of ground to make those plays.
And Jordan Pacheco will hit for Comenter. Jordan has been waiting patiently, trying to get some at bats. He's got 2 hits in 4 AB since he was acquired by the D-backs on waivers from Colorado, but he has yet to start a game for Arizona. He's up to 250 on the year, and this is a guy that can play everywhere. But just can't seem to get a start. But he stayed sharp on the bench, couple of pinch hits.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Snacks.
Who needs a spoon?
Ender Inciarte, a perfect 4 for 4 in his stolen base attempts this year. Down there with Dave McKay at first. Jordan Pacheco 2 years ago played primarily third base and first base in Colorado. He was their backup catcher this year as Inciarte is running on the pitch, but that one is fouled back. And he thought maybe with Prado getting a day off yesterday that Pacheco might get the start at third. Instead, it was Didi Gregorius for the first time ever. And Pacheco, good career numbers against Lincecum, having played in the NL West. He's seen plenty of Lincecum in his days with the Rockies. Inciarte holds that time. It's fouled away, 1-2. Inciarte takes off, broken bat. Pacheco's bat just shatters and goes out to third. Blanco has that one. Looked like Ender got a really good jump over there, but that's an out and a broken bat.
Yeah, unfortunately, with 2 strikes, Jordan Pacheco doesn't have the luxury of taking a borderline pitch. So even though Inciarte had a great jump at first and probably was going to steal that base easily, Pacheco has to guard the strike zone, and that time gets jammed badly. And that little floater into center field for an out.
Brings up Gerardo Parra, who's 0 for 2. Gerardo Parra had a 6-game hit streak come to an end the first week of June. And since that streak ended, he has hit just over 150 in his last 13 games. So he's gone on a bit of a downturn here the last couple of weeks.
And that's part of the reason Parra has struggled lately. He's had trouble laying off that high fastball. He's a good low ball hitter, especially out over the plate and down. We saw him driving some balls to the opposite field earlier this season, but lately has been chasing a lot of those high fastballs. And once you do that for a couple games in a row, it goes on that advance report. It's filed with the team that you're going to see next, and you're going to see more high fastballs until either you lay off of them or start to catch up to them.
This one out to right. Hunter Pence near the pool, still backing up. That's the second out. Ender Inciarte was nearly standing on second base by the time Pence tracked that down. If that had dropped, then he would have scored easily. Two outs. Here's Chris Owens. So far 0 for 2.
I would think Inciarte is going to try to steal that base sometime early in this at bat right here to Chris Owens. Once again, if he happens to get thrown out to end the inning, you've got CO leading off in front of Goldie in the next inning. If he makes it successfully, he's in scoring position, and Chris Owens could possibly pick him up.
Inciarte holds. Lincecum misses 1-0. And in contrast to Gerardo Parra, Chris Owens having a terrific month. Very good start to the season. You see there March and April, and went through an adjustment period in May, hit under 220. But his bat is hotter than ever here in June. Inciarte holds. Swing and a miss. 1-1. .75 pitches for Lincecum, 46 for strikes. 1-1 to Owens. Tim Lincecum is thinking exactly what you were saying a moment ago.
Lincecum trying to pitch out of the slide step that time, which is not his forte. Got that unusual delivery with that long stride out front, and anytime he tries to rush it at all, he tends to leave the ball up and into a righty, up and away from a lefty. Just can't finish his delivery as easily as he can out of the regular leg kick.
2 balls and a strike. Inciarte holds. Sanchez throws down to first, but he's back in time. 3-1 now to Owens with Goldie on deck. Nice if Lincecum worried so much about the base runner, he put 2 on for Goldie. Giants bullpen, you can see there behind Lincecum is quiet, except for the legends who are waiting to race back there. There goes Ender. Owens lifts it in the air high and deep to center field. Blanco at the wall, and he won't get there. Inciarte scores, and Owings is on the run. They're going to wave him in. Here he comes, and he is out of there.
I don't know. I think we might have a plate blocking incident right here.
Gibby is already out there talking to Dan Isonia. Blanco did the same thing on the ball that was hit to dead center field that we saw him do earlier in the ball game. Isonia is now checking with Dale Scott, the crew chief at third. There's a conference.
He's blocking the plate without the ball.
The catcher must be in possession of the baseball before he stands in front of home plate. And they are going to go take a look. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be a D-backs challenge. You can ask the umpire to review this particular play since the rule change.
Initially, it looked like Sanchez was giving Chris Owings a lane to home plate, but he dropped that left foot into the baseline, blocked the plate before the ball got there. And based on some of the other plays we've seen at the plate this year, I think the Diamondbacks have a legitimate case here.
Home run calls and collision calls at home plate, this falls under that category, are subject to unlimited review at the discretion of the crew chief.
That's right there. He's got the plate blocked without the baseball.
This is a crew chief review. This is not a D-backs challenge. The umpires are looking at this on their own. He is out at home.
Man, I don't understand that rule there.
Nevertheless, a run does score. Owings is out at home, and the D-backs have a 3-1 lead back after this. One down. Catcher must have possession of ball to block pathway of runner trying to score. Didn't look like he had the ball.
No. I mean, initially, Sanchez was giving a lane to Chris Owings to the outside, but as that ball got closer and closer, you can see right there, he's taken the lane away at that point and does not have the baseball. Now, momentarily, he will. Right there, he has the ball. But for me, he was blocking the lane to home plate before he had possession of the baseball.
What about the argument or the discussion that you have to allow the catcher to go get to where the ball is going to go? And if that leads him into the path of the runner and they all get there at the same time, then it's still the play should stand as called.
I guess that's really playing lawyer ball right there. But
yeah,
that would be the only argument I could see that would be defensible in that situation. I mean, it looked like the throw came right to Sanchez. He was positioned there by home plate, giving CO a lane, and then took that lane away before he caught the ball. The throw didn't appear to be offline in any way, shape, or form to lead Sanchez into blocking the plate.
So it's a triple and an RBI for Chris Owings, a 3-1 D-backs lead, and Oliver Perez is out there to open up the sixth. His 32nd appearance on the year, a 2.60 ERA. Right back to the mound. I know the play didn't end the way Chris Owings and the D-backs would have liked, but he hit that. That was a rocket out there over the 407 mark in dead center. He continues to hit line drive after line drive.
Catcher, Hector Sanchez.
There is the Giants catcher, Hector Sanchez.
When Oliver Perez first came on board, we weren't quite sure what his role with the ball club was going to be, but he's worked out to be a very dependable member of that bullpen against righties and lefties. Since May 11th, he's pitched in 15 ball games to a 0.66 ERA. Opponents hitting barely over 200 against him.
He's ahead of Sanchez, 0-2. It's her birthday.
All right.
Well, we got to get a win. Spending a birthday at Chase Field. Nicely done, ladies. And happy birthday. The 0-2. Off the fifth, shallow center, and Ciarte coming in, and he can't get there. It's in between Ender and Chris Owings, and Sanchez has a one-out single. Fans of all ages here at Chase Field on a Friday night in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. A-Ray Adrianza steps in. He doubled his last time up. Back with you tomorrow. Diamondback live pregame show at 6:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. It's another late Saturday night start, 7:10 first pitch. Adrianza, the switch hitter, batting from the right side now against the lefty Oliver Perez. Two 2-0. Sanderson Ford bullpen. The right-hander Evan Marshall. This would work out to the Marshall, Ziegler, Reed 7-8-9. With the Diamondbacks leading at 3-1 here in the sixth. Gutierrez warming up for the Giants. 2-0 is in there for a strike, 2-1.
We'll see how Bruce Bochy plays it with 2 outs and a runner at first. He might let Lincecum hit for himself and go back out there, but I got to believe that if Adrianza reaches here with 2 runners on, he'd probably go to his bench and a pinch hitter. Two and two.
Over Perez on for the second day in a row. He worked 1 1/3 yesterday afternoon through 21 pitches. Checking on the availability of Evan Marshall down there. Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the bullpen coach. Two and two. Double play ball. Owings, Hill, Goldie. They roll it. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. We'll see if Tim Lincecum gets back out there, because guess who's leading off the sixth for the Diamondbacks?
Your D-backs are now.
Broadcast against the Giants, and you can join the D-backs efforts to vote for Paul Goldschmidt for the All-Star game. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30, beginning with D-backs live pregame only right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Don't forget the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star game, July 15th on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. So vote for Goldie. It's your duty as an American.
For the D-backs.
Vote right here at the ballpark and vote online. And here we go again. Goldie v. Lincecum, a single in the first, a walk and a run scored in the fourth. And now with 14 hits in 25 at-bats, including 7 home runs in his career against Tim Lincecum. There's the strike, 0-1. Tim Lincecum, now that he's not really a fastball pitcher anymore, succeeds oftentimes by getting hitters to swing at breaking balls down and in the dirt, and gets a lot of swings and misses on those types of pitches. But with Goldie in the lineup and in this matchup, he has shown a knack most times for laying off that stuff from Lincecum. So Lincecum will instead oftentimes have to come up with fastballs, and Goldie generally doesn't miss those. Here's the 2-1. And hold up 2-2. Up with a fastball that time. Well, Aaron Hill has a couple of big singles tonight. So both Aaron Hill and Goldie have done well against big-time Timmy Jim. He just spiked one there to run the count full 3-2.
25 for 44. That's good.
That's what they tell me.
Ooh. Man. Crazy numbers.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Vote early, vote often right here at the ballpark. Vote online, vote via the paper ballot. One more time on 3 and 2. Lincecum must hate it when that happens. I got to throw another pitch to this guy.
The last 2 pitches, he's gotten away with a couple of very hittable pitches up over the heart of the plate. Both foul balls by Goldie. Probably feels like he's living on borrowed time at this point. 3 at bats into the ball game, and Goldie hasn't homered yet.
17 pitches too. 18 is the charm. That ball is off the base of the wall. Mike Morse won't get there, and Goldie is in at second. His 28th double.
So close. Oh. Roof and panels open. We've got some more history for Paul Goldschmidt against Tim Lincecum, but with the ballpark hermetically sealed tonight, that just didn't carry the way it looked like it was going to off the bat.
What a hanger that was.
Just over the glove of Morse, about 3/4 of the way up the wall out there in left center field. Might have actually tipped the fingertips of the glove out there. Perhaps a moral victory for Lincecum.
I think you're right. There's strike 1 to Miguel Montero, is 0 for 2. 18 on the 18th pitch he saw from Lincecum tonight. So Goldie tonight in the matchup. A single, a double, a walk, and so far 1 run scored. He's also stolen a base. Montero trying to extend a 5-game hit streak. And we showed you Aaron Hill's numbers against Lincecum. Aaron Hill is on deck. $15 hits in 26 at bats for Goldie versus Lincecum.
Lincecum starting to hang some pitches here in this inning. I mentioned the 2 pitches that Goldie fouled off before he doubled off the wall in left field. That last delivery to Miguel Montero just kind of hung up there in the middle of the plate. He fouled it off, and immediately Sanchez made his way out to the mound. And Bruce Bochy certainly noticing the same thing. That Lincecum starting to make some mistakes up in the zone. Hanger right there. Maybe just gets a piece to stay alive.
Juan Gutierrez still throwing down there. Another 0-2 to Miggy.
Missed high with a changeup. That's not the location you want to throw an 82-mile-an-hour pitch.
He did not go, says Dale Scott.
I got a reaction from the Giants dugout over there on the first base side. Take another look here, and I can see why. Wow. Lincecum throws his hands in the air. Bruce Bochy actually had his hat off over in that first base dugout, waving at Dale Scott down at third base.
And that's a big hat. 2-2. Shot to the mound. Lincecum has it. Goldschmidt advances to third. 1 away. Brings up Aaron Hill, who's 2 for 2.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
led off the second with a single and had a big 2-out RBI single in the fourth. He also scored a run, came in on the Prado double.
And Aaron Hill's been on a nice roll in this situation. His last 19 at bats with runners in scoring position, he's got 8 hits and 10 runs driven in.
Infield creeping in near the edge of the grass. Aaron Hill gives that a ride to left field. Morse is near the corner. Goldie's at third. He will come on in. And it's 4-1 D-backs.
It's not what he was trying to do. The fact that Miguel Montero grounded that ball to the right side, moved Goldie up to third base with 1 out in the inning, set the stage for Aaron Hill to drive that sac fly into left field. Diamondbacks take a 3-run lead.
Second RBI of the night for Hill. Check the location.
Right in the middle of the plate once again.
4-1 ball game. Base is empty. 2 outs for Prado. RBI double as last time. 1-0.
I mentioned Kirk Gibson trying to milk Josh Comenter through that 5th inning to put him in line for a possible victory. I think Bruce Bochy's doing the same thing here with Tim Lincecum because his spot is due up first in the next inning. If he makes a change right now, it's either a guy coming in to get 1 out and get out of the inning and then pinch hit for him, or you have to make a double switch.
Right to the hole, it's short. Sandoval cuts off Crawford and throws him out. But the D-backs add 1 more and they lead it 4-1.
Clubhouse. I mean, the way he treated, our clubhouse. So that's probably what I remember most about him is just how he treated guys like Jimmy Garrett and Roger and Tony and the kids in the clubhouse. I mean, he treated them like they were equals, and you don't see that a lot in this game anymore.
General Manager Kevin Towers sharing those thoughts about J.J. Putz as he was designated for assignment today. He appeared in 175 games in 4 seasons with the D-backs. His 83 saves ranked 2nd in club history. Fellas, back to you.
He will certainly be missed, that's for sure, Cindy. Kirk Gibson waiting until Joaquin Arias was announced as the pinch hitter for Lincecum before going to get Perez and going to the right-hander Marshall. So it's a pitching change. We'll be back from Chase Field. Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. Back at Chase Field on a Friday night in Phoenix, we are celebrating our baby's due date with the D-backs. Oh, we've seen birthday parties, due date celebrations. It's a festive atmosphere here at the ballpark, and Evan Marshall is on to open up the 7th.
I hope they're sitting close to the first aid station.
Oh, yeah, or near an aisle at least, something. Joaquin Arias will hit for Tim Lincecum, so Lincecum's night ends right here. Arias 1 for 15 as a pinch hitter this year. There's a strike, 0-1. And Arias, since May the 9th, has had only 30 at-bats. He doesn't get a chance to hit much. Still looking, in fact, for his first extra base hit all season.
Yeah, 1 for 15 as a pinch hitter off Bruce Bochy's bench. He's in that mix at second base from time to time. You get the feeling if anybody at that position would put together 2 or 3 good offensive games in a row, they'd be the everyday second baseman.
They have Adrianza, they have Arias, they have Brandon Hicks. Hicks isn't hitting. He's 2 for his last 30. Oh, well, they try and figure out what to do while Marco Scuro is out. There's another strike, 1-2. I see Brandon Webb has made his way into our booth here, which means the photo, I'm guessing, has been selected. It has, he says. All right. Okay. I would not want to be you if this thing goes south on us after the varmint incident of earlier this week.
Yeah.
2-2. Earlier this week, there was did we decide, was it a hedgehog?
He called it a hedgehog, so that's what we're going to go with.
Brandon, in our AT&T fan photo contest, picked a picture of a hedgehog for some inexplicable reason. When he was this close to getting over the goal line and onto the committee.
Wasn't there a video game, Sonic the Hedgehog? Maybe,
you know,
just trying to put it all together here.
I like what you did there. Well, hopefully he's come up with something, and we'll take a look in the next half inning.
Of course, in Kentucky, you know what they call a hedgehog.
Go ahead.
An entree.
See, I knew it. I was going to say dinner. I didn't know. I had a feeling you were going there. 3-2 now. This was the photo. The hedgehog made its way into the shot.
Yeah, we had to shoo him out of the booth.
No varmints. Center field, Ender Inciarte back on the track in front of the wall. That one is a long way out there, but it's out number 1. Fans, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers who watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit dbacks.com for all the details. Top of the order up for the Giants with 1 out in the 7th. It's Gregor Blanco, who was 0 for 2. He walked and stole the bases last time up. And as long as Pagan is going to be out, and he's the guy that makes them go, Blanco has done a good job of filling in both in the outfield and in the leadoff spot. Over his last 29 games, he's hitting almost .350. But so far, hitless tonight. Here's the 0-1. Off the side of the mound, tough hop for Owings, and he throws him out. 2 down. Nice play by CO. And there is Angel Pagan. He arrived here in the Valley ahead of the Giants. Just had an epidural injection in that back, and they don't think he'll have to go on the DL, but they're not sure exactly when he will be able to return. It's not likely we see him in this series. He did take batting practice today.
An odd thing happened when Tim Lincecum was still on the mound. Watch the umpire, Dan Iasonia, throws the ball to Lincecum as he's throwing the ball back to the umpire, and they hit in midair. Now, you just don't see that happen very often.
Hunter Pence, 0 for 3. I mean, Lincecum was already uncomfortable here, having to face Paul Goldschmidt, and now he's got baseballs coming at him from all sides. Hunter Pence got a 6-game hit streak going, but nothing so far. 1-1. He's got 12 hits in his last 6 games. What do you think about putting a guy like this in the 2-hole? A guy who has been a 99 RBI guy a year ago. He's got 28 RBIs this season.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of the sabermetricians feel like you should put your best hitter in the 2 spot in the lineup. So in that respect, without doing all the math, it seems to make a lot of sense. I want Hunter Pence to get as many at bats as possible over the course of a season.
Aaron Hill behind the bag. Evan Marshall works a 1-2-3-7. D-backs lead it 4-1. Brandon Webb. It better be good. In the booth, Diamondbacks lead the Giants 4-1. We might as well get this over with.
Let's do it right now, right off the bat.
It's our AT&T fan photo. Let's see what you've come up with here.
All right.
There's Chuck Drago, the voice of Chase Field, and as selected by Brandon Webb, the winner is. Oh no! That is kind of a cool picture.
Yeah. What do you like? I know you like him a lot.
No, I just want you to explain the significance of that.
Well, it's his birthday today.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Now that's good. That's
Way
good.
to tug at the old sentimental heartstring.
That's right.
I thought it was just a stupid picture of Chuck yelling into a megaphone, but no, it's his birthday.
That's right.
Okay.
Probably the best of the year, I think.
Nice going. Nice going.
All right.
Wow, that was close.
I got a pat on the back. That's all.
Those are hard-earned, my friend. Those are hard-earned.
All right, good deal.
And happy birthday to Chuck, the PA announcer here at Chase Field. Veteran left-hander Javier Lopez is on to open up the 7th.
Good bounce back, Webby.
Thank you.
A couple of left-hand hitters leading off the inning for the Diamondbacks in Peralta and Inciarte.
Chuck would have been screaming at a hedgehog with that megaphone. Woo.
No good.
Yeah, well, you may be the president of the committee.
Yeah, see?
If you mix a good with a bad, with a theme, I'll give you points for that.
All right, I have to look for that.
He's a sport, I'll say that for him. How about the way Josh Colmenter really did battle, and it's a term we use all the time. But he fought to get through that 5th inning.
Yeah, it was a battle. He threw a lot of pitches today, worked behind in the count a lot, seemed like, and also they fouled off a lot. So he did a good job of making big pitches. He had some runners on, walked 4 guys, I believe, and just was able to make some big pitches and get out in some innings. Yeah.
And Webby, I was speculating that Gibby was trying to milk him through that 5th inning, at least to put him in line to possibly win a ball game. As a pitcher, I'm sure you've been in a situation like that where you're grinding to get through that 5 innings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you appreciate that from your manager, don't you?
Yeah, no doubt.
Shatter the bat in half. It's an easy out, 1 away.
Yeah, that's the goal. We like wins. It's the stat that we like, and to battle and get through and let him get through his 5th inning to get to that point and be able to possibly get the W. It's nice.
Ender Inciarte steps up now. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Kirk Gibson to send Cody Ross into the on-deck circle. Ender Inciarte 1 for 2, a single. He scored a run his last time up. What from the pitcher standpoint now? What's your version of the Goldie-Lincecum matchup? Because once again, Goldie wins, 2 hits and a walk. He scored twice.
Yeah, Goldie beat him big today. Yeah, he just went right back. You look at the numbers, and it just keeps ballooning. His average was 500, and it went to whatever it is now, 560, 570, whatever it is. And yeah, he's doing a great job. I think that pitchers just. Some hitters and some pitchers, they just see each other or feel comfortable at bat against each other or vice versa. And obviously Goldie feels comfortable right now against Tim Lincecum, and he feels like anything he throws up there looks like a beach ball, and he spits on anything that's just outside. He can see every pitch so good that's why he's doing so well against him.
Well, Cody Ross announced as the hitter for Evan Marshall in there against the lefty Lopez. And Cody will hit, and he's been hitting a lot lately, now up to 215 on the year. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 12 games. What about the idea, and we talked about this, that Lincecum, to his credit, doesn't seem to give in to Goldie. He's still looking for that way to get him out. There's no pitch arounds. There's no intentional walks. He's up there, and he's going to try and get that guy out.
Yeah, he's trying everything that he can. He's trying every pitch. He's throwing everything that he has. He doesn't want to give in. He wants to get to the point probably where he wants to try to get to back to even and even things up and say, oh, no, you owe me early, but now, I got your number. I know how to get you out.
Going to have to get him out like the next 30 times.
Yeah, that's going to take a few years, but.
But we encourage him to keep trying. 1-1 to Cody.
And you wonder how much of it becomes a psychological thing, where, geez, I know if I throw a strike, he's going to hit it out of the ballpark. And you throw a strike and he hits it out of the ballpark, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. That was when we were talking about me and Brad Hawk, same thing. He owned me, and every time he came up, it's like, what am I going to do? It just makes you think more.
On one hop to Crawford. Lopez, a 1-2-3-7. Brad, I'm happy to hear that your status on the committee is well, it's not over yet, I guess.
Better.
It's better.
I got 2 games left this series.
2 games left. All right.
Stay hot.
295.
D-backs lead the Giants as we start the 8th. Our Gila River game summary. Josh Comenter in line for the win after getting through the 5th inning. Bullpen trying to lock it down. Goldie, 2 hits and a walk, 2 runs scored against Lincecum. And on for the 41st time this year, the most appearances in the major leagues, is Brad Ziegler. No one has worked more this year than the Diamondbacks right-hander. And he'll work to Posey, Sandoval, and Morse, 3, 4, and 5 here in the San Francisco 8th. That one is lined over to left and foul just by Kirk Farley, our Golden Glover down there.
3-hole hitters in the respective lineup have really showed up tonight. Buster Posey 2 for 2 with a walk, scored the only Giants run in this game, and Paul Goldschmidt 2 for 2. He scored 2 of the 4 runs in the game.
Posey out in front, 1-2. Matt Stites saw him make his major league debut yesterday against the Brewers. On a hop to short, Chris Owings. They retire Posey for the first time tonight. 1 away here in the 8th. Well, fans, Tuesday, July 15th, baseball's best gather in Minnesota. Derek Jeter takes the field in his final All-Star appearance. It should be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. And so far, so good. Paul Goldschmidt leading the voting among National League first basemen. 1 pitch to the Panda. Prado pounces on it and throws it out. 2 down. Let's make that our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game.
A tough one. Anytime that ball coming off the bat of a left-hander to the left side of the infield, it's got a little extra side English, and that time Prado just smothered it to make sure it didn't get through. Gets to his feet and fires across in time to get the Panda.
2 outs, bases empty. Michael Morse 0 for 2. He walked his first time up. He's got an 8-game hit streak on the line here. Drop to third. Prado will charge. And Brad Ziegler, 7 pitches, 3 ground balls. See you later. Home half of the 8th on the way. Arizona's Fan Express, presented by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, is headed to Chase Field, and you can get on board. Just stop by this month's participating Fry's Food Store in Globe, and there you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus You'll get round-trip transportation to the D-backs game here at Chase on July the 20th. For more information, visit FoxSportsArizona.com, and we'll see you here at the ballpark. They drive you right up to the ballpark. The Brain Trust.
Tony La Russa, Billy Ryan, Ray Montgomery, and Kevin Towers.
Gerardo Parra, first pitch against Lopez, grounded to second, 1 away. Brings up Chris Owings, but not before Bruce Bochy makes a slow walk to the mound. Lopez is now retired all 4 he's faced, and it looks like Bochy will go to his right-hander here with Owings and Goldie coming up. .10 start, D-backs and Giants, Native American Recognition Night. The first 20,000 fans in attendance get this D-backs duffel bag courtesy of Gila River Casinos, and get the most bang for your buck with a D-backs value pack. That includes a bleacher ticket, a hot dog or a Subway sandwich, a regular Pepsi, and a free cookie, all for only $21, and you'll get the D-backs duffel. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value. Well, Juan Gutierrez, 24 saves as a D-back, on now for the Giants, his 31st appearance.
Gutierrez is a little bit of an oddity in that he's a 4-pitch guy out of the bullpen. Mostly fastball slider, but he does have a curve and a change he'll use, especially in extended outings when he's in there longer than 1 inning.
Chris Owings, an RBI triple his last time up. He was thrown out at home plate trying to stretch it into an inside the park home run when it appeared that Hector Sanchez was blocking home plate without possession of the baseball and not allowing Owings a clear path. But they took a look. It was an umpire review, and the call on the field stood. But still an RBI triple for CO. He's 1 for 3. So he is now hit in 6 straight games and 9 of his last 10. And every time you watch Chris Owings, Bob, for me, his major league ceiling looks higher and higher.
No, I don't think we've seen the best of Chris Owings yet. He's still learning his way along, doing it at a very accelerated pace. But I think especially the offensive numbers still have a chance to really spike.
Pop up first base side. Buster Posey has it, 2 down.
You kind of forget, given the fact he's been so good early on in his career, that for most of these pitchers, he's seeing them for the first time. You can only gather so much information from an advanced scouting report from looking at video. You actually have to get in the batter's box and get a look at some of these guys. And for Chris Owings and most of the pitchers he's facing, it's his first look.
Paul Goldschmidt, 2 for 2 with a walk. He scored twice. He singled and stole a base against Lincecum in the first. Addison Reed, the closer, warming up in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Goldie walked and scored in the fourth. Doubled and scored in the sixth. So he is now 15 for 26 career against Tim Lincecum. There's a strike, 1-1. And 2 more runs scored tonight for Paul Goldschmidt. The last 17 games, he has scored 15 runs. Chases that one upstairs, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the ninth. Addison Reed, the closer, is coming in. Here at Chase.
Well, something we really took for granted last season when the Diamondbacks were the best fielding team in all of baseball, but especially the outfielders really showcasing their speed tonight. Martin Prado with a nice play down there at third base. Boy, I guess the team has been struggling like the Giants. You just don't want to give them any more opportunities than they deserve. Make all the plays on defense, put the pressure on them.
Now it's time for our Subway in-game box score. Goldie 2 for 3, 2 hits and a walk against Lincecum. Aaron Hill 2 for 2. So those have been the big hitters so far in the lineup. Chris Owings almost had an inside the park home run. And now in the ninth, we will turn it over to the closer. It's Addison Reed with a 4-1 lead. His 32nd appearance, he has converted 16 of 18 save opportunities. The ERA high for a closer at 4.15. It worked to Brandon Crawford, Hector Sanchez, and A-Ray Adrianza. 6, 7, and 8 the scheduled hitters in the Giant ninth.
Yeah, everybody with a bat in their hands is dangerous, but for Addison Reed, this is about the closest thing you get to a soft landing as a closer coming into the ball game to face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, and then a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot, should we get that far.
Crawford 0 for 3. Now, if I'm watching Bob Addison Reed here and I'm hoping for signs of improvement or certainly signs of more confidence from him, what should I look for?
Well, number one, will he throw his slider? And if he does throw his slider, does it break the direction it's supposed to? There's a slider right there, down, got some downward movement. Crawford just able to hit the top half of the baseball, and his ability to spot that fastball. And that has been very elusive for Addison Reed this year. He's got a good heater in the low to mid 90s, but Occasionally he'll just aim for the middle of the plate, and unfortunately that's where a lot of them have ended up.
He's ahead on Crawford, 0-2. He's off the fastball down and away at 93.
Yeah, see, even though that's a ball out of the strike zone, ahead in the count 0-2, he missed his spot in his favor, farther away from the left-handed hitter. Another slider on the way here. Oh, goodness.
Got him to chase. There's the strikeout, one away.
It's such a valuable pitch for him, and it just make it easier for him to retire hitters when you don't have to stand out there and throw fastball after fastball after fastball and hope that your command is good enough to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat. When you can mix in that slider every now and again, it gives the hitter something else to think about, gives you an out pitch, gives you a swing and a miss pitch.
It was a wipeout pitch for him with the Chicago White Sox, a pitch that he had tremendous confidence in. He said he would throw it in any situation, any count to any hitter. But it just has escaped him this year as a Diamondback. 1-0 now to Sanchez, who singled his last time up, 1 for 3. Two and one. Giants got a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. With 2 outs, Buster Posey singled and Sandoval tripled. And Colementor was in an immediate hole. 2-2. And the Diamondbacks answered with 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 1 in the sixth. RBIs in the fourth by Hill and Prado. Owens an RBI triple in the fifth. Aaron Hill a sac fly in the sixth. Two balls and 2 strikes to Hector Sanchez.
And watching Addison Reed tonight, his command is as good as we've seen it. Miggy sliding out on the outside corner. He's either missed farther away or he's hit the glove on that outside corner. Well, so many times in the early part of this season, he was throwing strikes, but very hittable strikes right down the middle of the plate, which you don't want to do in a close ball game late.
Like it leaked over the plate a bit.
Yeah, he was trying to go inside that time. That's when he really has issues. He's got that crossfire action, and sometimes it's hard for him to get that ball back to his glove side, which is inside to a left-handed hitter.
Miggy will complete the strikeout. 2 down.
Another slider for a strikeout. Starts that pitch down low in the zone. The velocity fools the hitter into thinking he's getting a low fastball, and then the thing just bottoms out in the dirt. Miggy scoops it up, fires to first to complete the out.
Same pitch that he struck Crawford out on. He gets Sanchez, and now with 2 outs, Ehire Adrianza is the last man standing for San Francisco. He's 1 for 3, doubled in the fourth. Ball 1. Pitcher spot is due up next. Tyler Colvin, the former Cub and Rocky, is in the on-deck circle for the Giants. Strike two. A strike away from striking out the side in order, and they're on their feet here at Chase Field.
He's got 2 punch outs on that slider down. See if he goes to it here to finish him off. I think it's a slider on the way. A little too low that time. Ball hit out in front of home plate. A little bit more depth, get it a little bit closer to the hitting zone, and maybe you get the swing and a miss. But when they bounce that far out in front, even aggressive swinging hitters are going to take that one.
It's full 3-2. Colvin would be next. Got him! Addison Reed strikes out the side in order, and the D-backs beat the Giants 4-1. Well, the D-backs closer look to have regained his form. Goldie did his thing against Tim Lincecum, and the Diamondbacks open up with a win against the Giants.
Yeah, that's a big one. We talked about how the Giants have been struggling coming into this series. You don't want to give them any momentum, any reason for hope. Just bury them in that first game of the series, and Addison Reed put the exclamation point on this one tonight.
So the D-backs win the series opener. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. It's a 6:30 Diamondback Live pregame start. Brandon McCarthy versus Ryan Vogelsong. And don't forget, that is the Goldie special. So vote early, vote often tonight. A special all-star Goldie edition of the broadcast tomorrow night. D-backs win it. Let's start Diamondbacks Live. Here's Jody.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Brandon, a lot to get to here. Diamondbacks Live, our postgame show coming up. And you know what?